Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we're checking out the openclaw technique, formerly known as Molt Bot, formerly known as Clawdbot. It's the AI that actually does things. For example, it clears your email and it checks you into flights. So you fancy pants people flying around the world, boom, you can use this guy and shakalaka it about. So let's jump in and install it. And to be safe, I'm actually going to be installing it inside a virtual machine. You see, the brain's here. Protection is they keep changing their names. Don't know what they're up to. So we're going to be checking it out today with Kimi-K2.5. We're going to see how well it runs even locally. Can we actually get it to clear my email? Or at least a fake email is out for it. Or at least, can we at least get it to run? Let's find out. So to get it to run, they have a quick start. Look at that. So you copy this situation, but you don't copy the actual $sign. You just copy the curl bit. And if you don't know curl, just download stuff. So I'm running this inside a virtual machine. So I'm just going to let it do what it wants to do. And you can see it's doing some stuff, downloading a blob from Ruby. So Ruby is a programming language, in case you don't know. Very, very popular back in the day. Nowadays, though, it's gone off the rails. So it's registering CA bundle, keychain. It's bottling it up, doing some amazing stuff. So you just let Node 22 run and install. So that's pretty much what it's doing, installing Node.js, which is a fork of actually Chrome. All of these big AI startups, they're all using Chrome under the hood. For example, Visual Studio Code wasn't using Chromium. So Google, the guys who released Transformers, the guy who started this whole craze, they actually are building all the tools that everyone's using to make this AI an amazing AI. So we're installing openclaw, and you can see they've been working really hard for changing the name over and over again. So straight away, the first thing you're given, security warning, please read. I understand this is a powerful and inherently risky. Do you want to continue? So, do you want to continue? I think I'm ready.
Don't do it!
Why not?
It's too dangerous!
It's clearly safe.
Let me do it for you! Hello.
That was fun. All right, so you can configure it manually, configure the port, network, tail scale, and all options, or quick start. We're gonna go roll with quick start, boom. And look at that, model of providers. So you get all of these model providers set up for you on the go. So that's really good. They've done that, thought of it there. You even get Moonshot AI, Kimi-K2. Will it work with Kimi-K2.5? I actually can get an API key, Kimi Code API. So let me actually just try that out. So you go into Kimi, you select Kimi Code, you go to console, and you create a new API key. So I'll just paste it in there and you get to choose which model you want to use. So I'm going to just use the current one, and you can select a channel. So you got all these different channels. I'm going to click on skip for now. I don't really want to give it access to anything at the moment. Just want to try it out. And you get a bunch of skills which actually allow it to do different things. So configure skills, yeah, why not? Let's configure the skills. So NPM allows you to download different modules for Node.js. So let's just use that. And these are the different skills you can install. So if you want to extract video frames, play peekaboo, write notes, but using a bear, boom, you got all this kind of cool stuff. Or even Apple Notes. You know, let's enable that one, because that's something we can actually test out on this virtual machine. So it's installing Apple Notes, boom. And while it's doing that, I figured let's fire up Xcreate and let's get it to generate an image for their new name, openclaw. So I'm going to make it generate a crab logo for an AI startup, because I think that's its theme. And this is all going to be generated locally on my Mac. So there you go, boom, we've got a new logo for openclaw. Openclaw. Let's see, it's pretty good, pretty good. I like that one. Let's see if it's done installing. And boom, we have installed Apple Notes. Perfect. Do you want Google Places? No. Do you want local places? No. Do you want Gemini? No. Do you want Notion? No. Do you want OpenAI? Ooh, potentially we can use that. Oh, for image gen. I don't need that. We already got Xcreate. Boom. No. So I'm going to just skip this stuff for now, just to see if we can get it actually working, because we already hooked up Kimi-K2.5 into it, and we've even got Apple Notes hooked into it. So what's good about it, it's got all of these integrations. What's bad about it is that it was just vibe coded. That's you know, it's going to be highly secure, as it says in the disclaimer. So do you want to allow it to find devices on local networks? That means it's running a server on this virtual machine, and that virtual machine is going to be connecting to other computers on your local network. So do you want to use it with the terminal UI, web UI, or do the stuff later? I'm going to go ahead and do it in the web UI so we can get it in a browser. And look at that. We got a nice, beautiful web UI screen, and it's informed us that Node.js is running in the background, or a Node.js application is running in the background. So if you don't want it running in the background, you can just disable it using that button here. So it's inside General, Login, Items, and Extensions, and it tells you the node that it's using. So it's in the bin folder, which is the folder where all of the kind of installed apps run via Homebrew. So it's used brew to install Node. There's stuff that's interesting. It's just standard, and you can disable it using that button there, but then it won't run in the background. For example, we just got disconnected straight away. And once I enable it again, it is back and connected. So I'm going to just try something out. I'm going to say, write me a new note about the significance of today. So this should funnel this request to Kimi-K2's Kimi-K2.5 server, which I've given it the API key for, and I'm hoping it'll be smart enough to connect it to the Apple Notes, and it will do some stuff. So we got a reply already saying, now create a new note for you in Apple Notes about the significance. So we got that response. Node wants to access control of the note application. So we're giving it now control into Notes. So it's hopefully going to make a command right there, a call, and add a new note, fingers crossed. So when you click that button there, it shows you what it's actually up to behind the scenes. So it's read the skill, it's made a note called the significance of today. Boom, right there. So it's actually done. It took a little bit of process, but it is done. And as you can see, look at that right there. We have a new note. I'm just chatting to it, and anyone can connect. So you can talk to it directly through the web browser, or if you hook it up to like your WhatsApp and all that kind of stuff. And look at it, it just works out of the box. So that is pretty cool. So I'm going to say new session now, and it's just passing it through. It's got a new system prompt, a good weekly workout plan for newbies. So I'm just looking for some advice on how to lose weight. Let's see what this note is going to do. I do have that reasoning thinking chain enabled. So it's responding back, it says I'll done the workout. So that was a bit weird. It went I'll, and then it said done, the workout plan has been created. So maybe this application is still work in progress. They did recommend using the terminal, not the web UI. So maybe there's some bugs to be fixed up, but look at that. We've got a new note, and it's all about the workout plan. So resting, do a foam roll, or do nothing, recovery, tips for success. So it's pretty much just taken my request there, fed it to Kimi.com's API, got the results, put it in Notes. It's got all these kind of cool integrations. So now that we've got it running super fast using Kimi-K2.5 in the cloud, let's see how fast it runs locally. So to set up locally, you want to go into config, and then instead of using the form situation up here, just click raw, because it's a lot easier to digest. Now I'm going to fire up Inferencer over here. I'm going to go to server and just make sure my server is running. Then I'm going to go into the connect page, and I'm actually going to connect to my Mac Studio right now. So I've actually connected to it just by clicking on it. And that has like all of my models, including Kimi-K2.5, the quantized version. So I'll go back into my current computer. This is my MacBook Pro, X Pro Local. And this is the IP address that I want to use. So it's HTTP, and I'll go into this text file and I'll search for the existing base URL. So the base URL for Kimi Code, which is the one that we set up online, is over here. I'm just gonna reuse that one because we're just testing it out temporarily, and I'll replace that HTTPS to Kimi, and I'll point it instead to my MacBook Pro. Now the next thing I need to do is go back into Inferencer, and I need to find the model I want to use. So I want to use Kimi-K2.5. I'm going to use the 3.6-bit quant version, and I'm using the remote function, which means it's going to connect to my Mac Studio automatically. So I'll go there, and I can see that the models are all set up. So we got Kimi for coding is the one we were using when we were connecting up to Kimi.com. I'm just going to paste in the remote version, which is running on my Mac Studio. So I can see here that there's also an agents category, and that one's using Kimi Code. That's the provider that we just changed, Kimi Code. So you want to keep the Kimi Code part, or whatever name you give it. And I'm going to change Kimi for coding to the ID that's on our local server. And I'll also change it here as well. So those are the 3 changes you need to make to get it running locally. Hit save, and it should now be connected locally. Let's just try it out. hello, my friend. And boom, you can see right there, I've got an attached window for the processing and it's prompt processing away in the background. So the first time it prompt processes, it's a bit slow, especially with Kimi-K2.5, very, very massive 1 trillion parameter model. Depends on the model they use because it is actually going through this massive prompt that it gives it. And that prompt has all of the different functions that it can call. So it can call canvas, it can call discover paired note. It's got all these random functions that it can do, and it comes to 66,000 characters. So it's a massive, massive system prompt for it to process. But once it's finished processing, all the subsequent messages will be cached and it will be a lot faster. One thing we can do is we can even hard cache this first initial generation so that every single time you click on new session, rather than reprocessing the cache again and again, it will just reuse the old one that we processed. So that's something coming very, very soon. And but for now, let's jump in and see how the responses goes. Boom, just came out online and saw your message. It's writing away pretty fast. That's pretty cool. Running all locally. What is your name? And boom, prompt process very, very quickly. Still figuring out its name. So we're getting really fast responses now. And we could even do all of those skill calls that we were doing previously. For example, if we wanted to make a new note in Apple Notes, I can say, write me a joke in Apple Notes. So look, it's making a tool call section begin, and it's reading the skill for how to use the Apple Notes. So it's going to feed that into its conversation. Prompt processing way very, very fast. Prompt processing again, just doing all these remote generations. I'm going to open up this button here so I can see what exactly is going on, hopefully. And there you go. It's writing a tool call. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. And I'll also have my notes app running here so I can see when it appears. So it's making that cat temp joke note. Why don't you trust atoms? Because they write notes. It's writing it as joke note.txt on my computer. And boom, it's added it just like that. Why don't scientists trust atoms? So it's all working locally. So there you go. We managed to run it locally, and we even managed to run it using Kimi.com directly for faster processing. But just one thing to know, be careful what you give it access to, because there's all these different skills you can give it access to, and the access you give it can be exploited. For example, if you give it access to your emails and someone sends you an email, the AI could read the email, and rather than doing what you want it to do, it might do what the email is telling it to do. So be careful, practice safe clawing. Hope you guys found this video useful and enjoyed the claw. Skill up my doll. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh no, it's coming live.